is the WrestleBread Podcast, bringing you the latest news, recaps, and analysis of AEW and WWE. Get the unique perspective from a wrestling fan of over 25 years. Here's your host, Jaydee.
What's going on, guys? This is Jaydee, and this is episode 129 of the WrestleBread Podcast. So, interesting week this past week. We had the Crown Jewel earlier today, and I actually did watch it live. Overall, I think it was a pretty good pay-per-view. For it, as far as the past shows over there, I will say this is the best one. This one made the most sense. I didn't feel like the show was put on just to please the people in the crowd over there. And was there a few things that could have been better? Yes. However, I think, like I said, overall, it was a good show. I'll get into the recap of Crown Jewel a little bit later. But first, getting into, current events, some news and rumors, stuff like that. First of all, outside of wrestling, I checked out the DC fandom, which I'm a DC girl. I love Batman. The Batman trailer was very good, first of all. I'm pretty excited for Batman. Seeing as though I have survived the era of the Val Kilmer and George Clooney Batman movies, I'm pretty excited to see this Batman. Now, I was a little skeptical about Robert Pattinson playing Batman. I'm still iffy about his Bruce Wayne. I get this is early on with him being Batman. I think this is year 2 from what I heard of him being Batman. I feel like Colin Farrell is going to steal the show as Penguin. First of all, he looks unrecognizable. The voice he has, I'm loving that character right now. So I can't wait to see. It feels like, as far as the Riddler, they're not showing a lot of him. So I feel as though he may be the big surprise of the movie, as far as how, how crazy the character is or something like that. But we will see. I'm very excited for The Flash, though, because my Batman, Michael Keaton, is in it. And I caught on to it. Now, I didn't even know he was in this movie. I didn't check out any, rumors or anything about the Flash movie. And I heard the music, and I'm like, that sounds like, the old Batman type music. And then I heard the voice, and I'm like, nah, no way. Maybe I heard it was I figured it was Michael Keaton, but I'm like, nah, they wouldn't have him come back as Batman, because I heard that, Ben Affleck is going to be Batman again and stuff like that. And I saw the house, and I'm like, it felt like the Luke Skywalker episode of The Mandalorian all over again, where you're just in slight denial, nah, they wouldn't do this, they wouldn't do that. And so, then they showed the Batcave, and then they showed the back of Batman walking up, and I realized it's the Batman who can't turn his head, which is famously what Michael Keaton couldn't do. He couldn't turn his head. He couldn't turn his neck, I should say. And so I'm very happy about that. Black Adam seems cool too. It's just a very cool time for a nerd. We got the Marvel Cinematic Universe going on. Can't wait for Spider-Man. We got now DC is coming back with, good movies. We got The Flash. We got the Snyder Cut, first off. We're getting the Batman and the start of maybe a trilogy or something. Who knows where that goes. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. I did see the Uncharted trailer earlier today. Now I played some of the first Uncharted. I haven't played the rest. I plan to play it. I'm thinking if I should stream that or not. I'm not 100% sure. But I don't know, man. I watched it and I just saw Mark Wahlberg and Peter Parker. Like, it's going to take a lot to like convince me that is solely Nathan Drake. I wish they had casted, oh my gosh, what's his name? Nathan Fillion. I wish they casted him for Drake. I understand like this is like his first mission, stuff like that. Now, like I said, I didn't play the other Uncharted, so I don't know how old he was with the first mission and when he first met Sully, but it's like Mark Wahlberg, man. Every movie Mark Wahlberg is in, he plays Mark Wahlberg. It's Mark Wahlberg, you know, with Nathan Drake. But I can't unsee Tom Holland as a high school teenager because he just has a look. And it's the same as Zendaya. She was in a movie where she like played her age, but we're so used to seeing her playing a teenager and she looks so young that I just can't like unsee it. So other than that, I'm very excited for what's to come. I don't have high hopes. Overall, I don't have high hopes for Uncharted. I have seen too many of these damn video game adaptation with the movies and it doesn't work out. I'm very happy with the latest Mortal Kombat. But I saw the Tekken movie. I saw the Dead or Alive movie. Street Fighter, even though that's like, it's a classic because it was just the people who acted in it. I saw Mario Brothers more than once. I saw Doom. What else? I saw Resident Evil. There's just so many of these movies where they, you know, take from the video games and they try to make money off of it and it like kind of doesn't work out. So I don't have high hopes for it. Anytime I see a video game movie, I don't really have high hopes for it. And so when it is good, I'm pleasantly surprised. So that's how I'm kind of going into this one with Uncharted. Don't know if I'm going to see it like in theaters when it first comes out or something. I might wait for it to appear somewhere. But we'll see. We'll see. If I hear people starting to really, really like it, maybe that'll change my mind, but who knows? We also have some bad news, first of all. It was revealed 2 health scares on Twitter that was revealed. First off, with Jim Ross, he had tweeted out a little earlier today that he's been dealing with a potential skin cancer issue, and he's getting a CAT scan today. So thoughts and prayers with Jim Ross. That is everyone's favorite commentator from the Attitude Era, of course. A lot of awesome moments from that era, you know, had his words attached to it. I'm hoping for good results. I'm hoping that, you know, it's nothing serious and that it's something that, you know, they can easily fix for him. Also, with Jim Hacksaw Duggan, his wife had tweeted out that he had to go to the hospital for emergency surgery. She was asking for prayers for him and everything like that. So my prayers also goes out to Jim Hacksaw Duggan. Also, even crazier, Rhea Ripley had tweeted out that she lost her luggage. Now, I forgot to note where, you know, what city she was in. I think it was Albuquerque, but I'm not 100% sure, that she had lost her luggage. And she tweeted out hoping that if someone finds her luggage, to be a good Samaritan and turn it in. Not only did she lose her gear, but she also lost her tag team titles. So I'm hoping that, you know, she'll be able to find her stuff and, you know, whoever finds her stuff won't put it on eBay. Because she also mentioned that she hopes that if anyone sees it on eBay, that they'll actually report it. So I'm hoping that she found her gear. I didn't check back to see if there were any updates with that, but I'm hoping that she found the gear. So going into some of the biggest news, of the past week, and that was what happened on Friday. As I said, Friday was going to be a good night for wrestling fans. We had Smackdown, which was on FS1, and they decided to extend Smackdown for 30 minutes, commercial free, and so it was obviously going to run into Dynamite. So Dynamite turned around and made the first match of CM Punk versus Matt Sydal commercial free as well, and he also added an hour buy-in with the match of Bryan Danielson versus Suzuki. I've completely forgot how to pronounce his first name, and I don't want to butcher it because I tend to butcher names. But I do know the last name's pronounced Suzuki. And it was a lot of hype. Tony Khan definitely brought a lot of hype. Fans brought a lot of hype too and stuff like that. And it was all a matter of what's going to happen between 10 and 10:30. Who's going to tune into what? It was all about the ratings, of course, because everyone has been talking about ratings. I have heard so much about ratings, it just makes my head spin. And I said, well, I'm watching both shows, first of all. I had both shows on at the same time, looking cross-eyed like Shawn Michaels, and I enjoyed my night. I knew it was going to be a great night for wrestling fans because both companies was going to put out their absolute best. So going into SmackDown, first off, we had Sasha Banks during that 10 to 10:30 hour. It was Sasha Banks versus Becky Lynch, a non-title match. And we also had the contract signing of Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns to end SmackDown. We also had the Street Profits versus the Usos, which was a good match. And we also had the semifinals for the King and Queen of the Ring. I know they call it the Queen's Crown, but I like calling it Queen of the Ring. It has a nice ring to it. Which was Finn Bálor versus Sami Zayn, which of course Finn Bálor won that match. And Carmella versus Zelina Vega, which everyone thought Carmella would win, but Liv Morgan caused a distraction, and Zelina got the win there. We were supposed to see Naomi versus Sonya Deville. Sonya Deville mentioned that she wasn't by herself, and she brought out Shayna Baszler. Her and Shayna Baszler fought Naomi in a handicap match, and which of course Deville won. So I'm actually digging Shayna Baszler being like the muscle for Sonya Deville, even though Sonya Deville probably don't need, like muscle to like handle out her problems. But I'm totally down for it. This will be definitely a step up for Shayna Baszler versus the whole Fremini situation that they had her in on Raw. So I'm hoping this is the start of something new. I know I just pulled a full-on High School Musical saying there, but yeah, I really hope that we get something as far as with Shayna Baszler. Also, let me see. I felt like I missed something on there. Maybe not. But from there, we got into the Seth Rollins coming out to cut a promo, which I have to say was definitely crazy. His suit. I don't know whether to play some blackjack or checkers, you know what I mean? But he cut an awesome promo about his match up with Edge. And of course, it was said that Edge will be challenging Seth Rollins to a Hell in a Cell match. So we got that going. Which, I will get into that once I talk about, once I get into Crown Jewel a little bit later. So we get into the match between Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch, which of course was part of the commercial-free half hour for SmackDown. And I knew this was going to be a good match. Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch are so good at what they do. I'm still trying to wrap my head around the big time Bex thing. I know that they're trying to put her as like the female version of Seth Rollins, it seems like, as far as like the ego and, you know, the way that she dresses with the furs and stuff like that. Doesn't really seem like she's going to come out with some like over the top outfits or anything. But the match between Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch was awesome. I forgot to see how long they went for. I believe it may have been like maybe a good 20 minutes, like between 15 and 20 minutes. But this was a straight up pay-per-view type style match. It definitely gave me like the vibes of, and I know that a lot of people reference the Attitude Era, but one of the things that I love about the Attitude Era, besides the creative freedom, is the fact that we had pay-per-view type matches on TV. And a lot of times, yeah, you know, there may be a match here or two that was like, all right, I can skip that. But every week, WWE always put out some pay-per-view type matches because they had so many wrestlers who are good at what they do, wrestlers who have amazing chemistry with each other, and these two women had amazing chemistry with each other. And so I think it was a smart idea business-wise for WWE to put out this match to start off that 10 to 10:30. Now, the only thing I didn't like was once this match ended. Now, Bianca Belair was out there on commentary. I think she was on commentary or she was sitting with commentary. I'm not 100% sure because, like I said, I was kind of watching that and Dynamite at the same time. But of course, Bianca Belair caused a distraction. Banks got the win over Becky Lynch, which of course, you know, with the way that WWE runs, Sasha Banks will not be winning at the Crown Jewel. What I really didn't like was the ending. So you had, you know, the three women sitting there, Sasha Banks happy that she won, Becky Lynch sitting there like shocked that she lost. Not only that she lost, but Bianca had caused the distraction for her to lose, and for Bianca Belair to, you know, kind of react to the fact that, you know, Becky Lynch lost. While that was going on, for some reason, they decided to cut the camera to the hard cam where we see Adam Pearce quickly telling the ring crew to bring in the table and the chairs for the contract signing. And it kind of like took away from everything from like the amazing match that these women just had, because it's just like, it immediately like cut to them setting up the ring. They could have easily had did something like maybe brought out someone to interview Becky Lynch or Bianca Belair or even Sasha Banks, kind of to keep the audience at home engaged with what's going on, so that it's a bit of a smoother transition from this amazing match to your main event segment, which was the contract signing. That was my biggest thing about it. If there were people who was kind of like watching SmackDown at this point and was interested going to AEW, I feel as though this was the point that they changed the channel, because it felt like a bathroom break segment right there of them taking the table and chairs and like quickly trying to set up everything for the next segment. It felt like you was watching a stage play. You know how at a stage play, once the scene ends, you see all the stage hands come in and move the props and the scenery and stuff like that. That's definitely how I felt watching that. But getting into the main segment, which was the contract signing for the Universal Championship match, Brock Lesnar, Farmer Lesnar, I should call him. He comes out, sits down. Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman are looking over the contract, and Paul Heyman, give this man an Oscar. I know this is wrestling and everything, but Paul Heyman deserves a damn Oscar. He definitely was like, my tribal chief, I believe you should sign this contract. It is with my authority that you should sign the contract. And then, Roman Reigns signed the contract. He gives the contract to Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar signs it without reading it, of course. And then Roman Reigns goes, "What are you, a dumbass? You didn't read the contract. We all know you should read the contract." I thought that Roman Reigns was going to reveal, like, maybe there was a stipulation or something like that in it, and, get a quick ha ha ha. But here comes Brock Lesnar, pick up the mic and just drops the pipe bomb. He said, "I already read the damn contract earlier this morning with my advocate, Paul Heyman." And it just felt like you were at a party and you see the two guys arguing about the hot chick, and the guy, the hot chick is one guy's girlfriend. And then the other dude mentioned, "I had your chick last night." Same energy. I was sitting there like, whoa, you two-timing hoe. And you see, like, the life drain out of Roman Reigns. You see Paul Heyman clutching the title, pretty much clutching the pearls, because what do you say there? You was with the other man that morning. You were with your side piece in the morning, and you're with your main man right here. And it's just like, what do you do? And you see Paul Heyman, it looked like he was about to start crying and stuff. I was like, look, I cracked up at this whole segment. Exactly, Devin. Mouth drop moment. It was a really good segment. It really is. And as many times as Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns have gone against each other, I mean, we're going back, almost 10 years it feels like now. I really love this segment. It felt fresh, especially with Paul Heyman on the other side of the table, basically, sticking with Roman Reigns and everything. It was a pretty good way to end SmackDown. I wish they had actually flipped it, but I guess WWE wanted to start off with the stronger match and then end with this contract signing versus starting off the contract signing. Because, a lot of times with these contract signings in WWE, once you see one, you kind of see them all. One signs, the other signs, you end up with, a broken table or something like that. But I love, like I said, the match between Sasha and Becky Lynch. So going into AEW side, now I checked out the buy-in. The match between... I didn't completely see the match between Bobby Fish and Lee. I forgot what was going on at the same time as that match. But from what I saw, that was a pretty good match. Now, that match from Bobby Fish was a lot better, in my opinion, than his match with Sammy Guevara. I felt as though we saw a lot more of Bobby Fish's skills in this match versus with Sammy Guevara. Now, granted, I didn't see all of Sammy Guevara and Bobby Fish because, like I said, I was in line trying to get hot dogs and everything. So I was watching the TV mainly, and I kind of did miss some moments here and there. But obviously it was someone whose skill set kind of matches his a lot more. So whenever, you kind of get something like that, the chemistry is a little bit better between the two. Now, let me tell you. So the reason, now I was supposed to start, first of all, let me tell y'all the truth. I was supposed to start this, I was supposed to start at 9 o'clock tonight, and I had to push it back to 9:30 simply because I was showing someone the match between Bryan Danielson and Suzuki. This match was, if you ever want to show someone why the hell you still watch wrestling in 2021, it's moments like this. I absolutely love the Forbidden Door. I really do, because you get things like this and it really keeps things fresh. We don't have to see the same thing over and over again. I thought it was an amazing idea to put this on YouTube because it's straight up free. There's no commercials or anything like that. And you get it like completely raw. You get it completely raw. It's on YouTube or whatever. Because there were people that was wondering, why are you going to put this on YouTube? Why are we getting this for free? And I'm like, shut up. We're getting it for free. Like, if someone's offering you $1 million for free, you don't sit there and say, well, why aren't you going to make me do something? Why are you giving it away for me for free? No, take the money. Take this free good wrestling shows. We just got a free match, a free pay-per-view style match with Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch from WWE, and from AEW, we're getting Bryan Danielson and Suzuki all in the same damn night. And we didn't even do nothing. The fans didn't do nothing. The fans didn't, say, hey, we want good wrestling now. There was no hashtags that had to be started on Twitter. We got this for free, just because. So, to that, I just say, like, hush, quiet, like completely quiet. So with this match, Bryan Danielson and Suzuki, first of all, this match was a masterpiece. Was it a high flying match or anything like that? No. This was straight up like textbook. If you want to learn wrestling moves that you never heard before, if you want to see like hard hitting, like wow, like you had to, like, sometimes when you watch a match and you can clearly see that the punches aren't connecting, like the shots aren't connecting. With this match, you're sitting here wondering, when were they not hitting each other? You know what I mean? This match, and I absolutely adored the crowd. The crowd made this even more exciting. They were chanting when Suzuki and Bryan Danielson was going back and forth with the forearms, and especially the part where they were doing the chops versus the kicks. The crowd immediately shushed themselves just so we can hear how loud the slap or the forearm or the kick was. And I pretty much loved it. Now, it started to get a little quicker at the end. You kind of have to be like open-minded when it comes to matches like this. So yeah, the pacing was very, very slow in the beginning. This match was basically to show how brutal these men could get. And you see towards the end, the pacing of it, immediately got quicker. It blows my mind that Suzuki is 53 years old and he's putting out matches like this. Blows my mind. And like I said, I'm like completely was a in a bubble type of wrestling fan. So I haven't really seen a lot of Suzuki outside of AEW. And I definitely going to be checking out more of his matches, because from what I've seen from him so far is amazing. And I know that a lot of people like sang his praises when he was first mentioned in AEW. And I really like the way I appreciate the way he was presented. That was something I said when he came out. I forgot what pay-per-view it was. May have been Double or Nothing, maybe. Where Jon Moxley was wanting to face Suzuki and he didn't come out until the end. And you see the crowd go crazy. And Excalibur did explain who he was and things like that. I really appreciate it. So it wasn't like, who's this? Who could it be? I wonder who this is. Oh, it's such and such. It felt like, how WWE sometimes do that who's that Pokemon thing. I really like the way that, they tell you who he is, why you should be excited about him. And they did the same thing with this match. They talked to you about who he is, why you should be excited about him, and they told more about him during the match. It definitely gave me like Jim Ross vibes. I loved it when Jim Ross used to do that back in the day. He would tell you like, this person went to this high school, this is why you should be excited about him. Like, they mentioned how Suzuki had 2,000 matches under his belt, this, that, and the third. And I really love that, because for people who are tuning in for the first time, knowing who Bryan Danielson is, but not really knowing who Suzuki is, you walk away from that match like, yo, I need to check out this guy a lot more. That was crazy as all hell. Now, was it storytelling or anything like that? No, AEW, they don't really do a lot of storylines. It's, of course, this person going against this person. And you kind of have a bit of a story with that. So with this match, Bryan Danielson coming into here, mentioning how he faced Suzuki before and it was brutal and he took him to the limit and stuff like that. And this was basically Bryan Danielson wanting to make sure he can still stand toe-to-toe with this legend. That's the storyline I kind of got from it. And that's the storyline that I felt was portrayed throughout this match. But this was an awesome match. I love the fact, first of all, that forearm shot that Bryan got to the face and he looked like he was TKO'd. That, my jaw dropped. And I was, of course, concerned for Bryan Danielson because we all know he has the issue with his neck, which, has been told plenty of times that he feels a lot better. However, I still had that concern. But all in all, Bryan Danielson won with the knee strike and with the running knee strike, and he got the win. And I was fine with that match. But I felt as though that was definitely that was a match of the year candidate because that was amazing. And what was amazing about it, it was different from a lot of wrestling matches that we have seen all year. Like, that was very hard hitting. It definitely was. So going into Dynamite, now I really didn't see Dynamite like all the way well, not all the way through, but I was like in and out with Dynamite. First of all, the match between Black versus Martin was really good. Like, come on. I realized that Black is turning into what a lot of people wanted him to be, which is kind of like a modern version of The Undertaker. A lot of people, between him and Bray Wyatt, a lot of people wanted either him or Bray Wyatt to kind of take the quote-unquote mantle of the void that The Undertaker had left. I feel as though, like, the mysterious nature of Malachi Black, the fact that there's, like, storytelling in everything he does, like his face paint, you see that it suddenly gets bigger and bigger and bigger. It seems like he's getting, like, the face paint on his face is getting bigger and bigger, like, the longer that it's going. Shout out to Top Rope Wrestling Talk. I saw your message. But it seems like it's getting bigger and bigger the more that it goes on. So I don't know if eventually his whole face is going to be covered with face paint or something, or if it's just going to be around that eye. But it feels like whatever is going on inside him is just like this long storytelling that he took back from WWE, from that eye for an eye match, and just like, bringing it all the way to October 2021. First of all, Dante Martin is amazing. I keep mentioning over and over again how he is only 20, I think he is, and he is able to put out these type of matches. It's just like mind-blowing of how awesome that he is. Let me see. I saw the AAA Tag Team Championship match, the Lucha Bros versus Mysterious Mass Tag Team. Now, this was a bit disappointing because I thought it was going to be something crazy. I thought we was going to see someone from AAA or something like that, but it ended up being FTR. So that was kind of like, I mean, they said close friends of Andrade. Then they showed a segment later on of MJF getting paid for supplying FTR, but I wish it was a different tag team. I really did. I wish it was a different tag team just so we can see, I wanted to be excited. I wanted to pop for something. Now they did surprise me with the fact that FTR won, and now they have the AAA tag team titles, which I don't know where we're going to go from here. Who they're going to defend it against or whatever. But I don't know. I don't really know how to feel when they be having the other companies titles with AEW, especially when it's an AEW wrestler who's holding said title. Now, maybe, okay, business wise, that, AAA is going to get more publicity because FTR has the title. They tried it with Kenny Omega and Impact, while, it did give some eyes over to Impact, but I'm guessing because, I don't know if I don't think they have a TV deal or anything like that. A lot of their stuff is on YouTube and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. But I am surprised that FTR did defeat the Lucha Bros for the championship. And it was a bit underwhelming that it was FTR as a surprise team. I was really hoping it was going to be, somebody else. AEW has kind of been spoiling us with these surprise appearances and debuts and stuff like that. So I guess this is kind of like a bit of the lower point as far as with this. I did not see Jon Moxley versus Wheeler. I mean, I kind of figured that Moxley is going to take him out. And from what I read, this match was only like seconds or something like that. Like, he pretty much like took him down. So, all right. And I did not see Dark Order versus Super Click. So sorry about that. I did see MJF coming out and talking about Darby Allin to come out and face him because Darby Allin was attacked the previous week and everything. And out comes Sting with a baseball bat, and he comes out to take out Wardlow. And, well, no, MJF ran out of the ring. He pushed Wardlow into Sting, who then attacked Wardlow with a baseball bat. It's still, like, so damn cool to see Sting in 2021. I saw a little bit of Kiera Hogan versus Penelope Ford. I don't know. I am happy that, was that the only women's match on here again? Yeah, it's still the one women's match on Dynamite. I'm just hoping, I'm guessing, like I said before, once they go to TBS, that maybe we will see a lot more from the women's division, that we'll see more than one match with this. But, we saw Ruby Soho, so, I guess we're going into that rivalry between her and Ruby Soho. I don't know, but I'm hoping that once we get the TBS championship tournament going and everything, that we'll see a lot more from the women. I did see the Hangman Page interview where, of course, Hangman Page is so damn popular. I'm very happy for him. I really am. He mentioned he is confident in himself and he's going to take the title from Full Gear and stuff like that. And, all that other cowboy shit. Definitely was a very passionate promo as well. And the crowd was just like over the damn moon with this guy. I think I saw some of the Bryan versus Bobby match. But don't quote me on what the hell actually happened. Really don't quote me on what the hell actually happened with that one. But all in all, afterwards, so everybody was waiting for the ratings to come out and everything. And it came out, I think, Smackdown did like 748,000 and AEW did like 560,000, if I remember. I may be off by a couple, but I do know it was definitely 700,000 and 500,000, which was really good. Like over 1 million people tuned in to watch wrestling. Now, maybe like, it may have been like, 100,000 people, of course, watching both shows at the same time type of situation, but it was still over 1 million people watching both shows. And then, of course, you get into, like, the demos and stuff like that, which I think was said that it was very close. So if I was Tony Khan, I'd be very happy as well. The biggest thing that came out was what happened between 10 and 10:30. And apparently, between 10 and 10:30, more people had watched AEW, or like the key demo or something like that. I should have wrote it down, but like basically AEW won between 10 and 10:30, and a lot of people had acknowledged her trending because the same amount of people who watched the Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar segment was the same amount of people who watched Ruby Soho and Brock Lesnar as far as the key demo. And so, of course, Tony Khan was over the moon, stuff like that. He was tweeting out all damn, I think it was, Tuesday or something like that the ratings came out and everything. And a lot of people was telling him, like, shut the hell up and all this other stuff. Eric Bischoff got involved, telling him that he can give him advice, which I don't know why. Like, you could pick Eric Bischoff's brain, but ultimately, Eric Bischoff is the person who let the wrestlers have complete creative control, who did not want to help the company, and then eventually guys got the company sold to Vince McMahon, who destroyed damn near most of that roster. So would I take advice from Eric Bischoff? Maybe not. However, I know a lot, everybody's on this whole, AEW versus WWE, but let me tell you, if I was Tony Khan, if I created my own wrestling promotion and WWE decided, for whatever reason, whether you think they did it because they're on FS1 or whether they did it because of AEW, they decided to extend it 30 minutes into my show, make it commercial free, and put Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair on there, Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. That's their biggest damn stars. And I decided to counteract, and I'm sitting here hyped, like, okay, they coming for me. Like, you got to really think, you got to really put your you got to really get into his shoes. Like, I would sit there and think, okay, you guys are coming for me. I got to put on my best show for those 30 minutes and, do a pre-show and all this other stuff, put on one of the best matches of the year and everything. And I got close to your A show, basically, because everybody knows SmackDown is the A show. And not only that, but within those 30 minutes, listen, if I'm able to beat WWE for 5 minutes, I will be fucking hype, okay? So I don't really mind too much of Tony Khan being so happy about it. Hell, I remember when WWE had beat WCW. You see, they still talk about it to this day. So it's like, you take your wins. This company was 3 years old. Now, I don't know my numbers like that, so I don't know if maybe TNA/Impact or New Japan, went a one-on-one with WWE for whatever certain amount of time and was able to beat them. But the fact that we have a wrestling company that is able to get numbers close up to a major WWE show. I know they were on FS1, but hey, you take your damn wins when you take your damn wins. This is amazing for all wrestling fans. Because Tony Khan can use what happened on Friday to get a good ass deal once the contract is up with TNT, TBS, wherever he wants to go. Hell, he can go to Fox if he wanted to and, get a second damn show. This is amazing news for all wrestling fans because this shows wrestling is kind of popular once again, I remember when wrestling wasn't a big thing and, it was like you're a loser if you watch wrestlings. And now, wrestling is all over the place. Everyone knows who John Cena and The Rock is. And it is slightly cool to be a wrestling fan once again. And not only that, we have two companies that's really trying to put out good wrestling, whenever they can. Especially on that Friday night. So I say we all want that one. So going into Raw. Now this was kind of like a go home show for the Crown Jewel. We got Xavier Woods, who defeated Jinder Mahal. That was, I had a slight feeling that Jinder Mahal was going to win this, but once I see Xavier Woods won, I was very, very happy. I was a very, very happy girl. Austin Theory versus Jeff Hardy. I don't know I don't know how to feel about Austin Theory just yet. Like, WWE is very consistent with messing up NXT call-ups. So I am waiting for, Austin Theory to suddenly become either Austin or Theory, change up the look or something like that, because the main roster management feel as though they got to put their hands into it. Speaking of which, apparently they're making changes with Karrion Kross, including changing that awesome theme and changing his look apparently, but they're keeping the mask because that's the thing that everyone hates. And apparently he grew out his hair. Of course, Scarlett's not going to be with him. Why would she be? Because that was one of the biggest amazing things about Karrion Kross, especially his entrance with her. But, all good things must come to an end. And when I say come to an end, I mean like fall off the cliff, drive off the cliff in the middle of Grand Canyon type of fall. We had Drew McIntyre and Big E teaming up before their match, of course. Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode faced them, of course. I believe, Big E and Drew McIntyre won. That was that. Bobby Lashley and Goldberg cutting another promo against each other. Goldberg saying he's going to kill Bobby Lashley. I don't know why no one is mentioning the police or something like that. And they keep playing that line of him saying your lifeless body, gasping for air. I don't know why no one had checked him about that, because a lifeless body cannot be gasping for air, because if it's lifeless, there is no life. You don't have life, you're not breathing, but whatever. We also had the semifinals with the Queen's Crown. We had Doudrop defeating Shayna Baszler. I am waiting for them to change that name, but it seems like they're going to stick with Doudrop. And then we had Finn Bálor defeating Mace. Can you imagine Mace versus Woods? That would be something. But however, Finn Bálor had won. He is going on to Crown Jewel. So now let's get into the review of Crown Jewel. Now, I watched it live. I was slightly in and out because I was watching it kind of while I was still working a bit. And overall, though, it was a pretty good show. For a lot of these shows, like I said before, in Saudi, they tend to not really be for the viewers at home. But it's basically like, let's just put out the most ridiculous pay-per-view ever. It was like an 8-year-old playing Raw versus SmackDown, the GM mode. That's sometimes how these, shows over in Saudi could be. Goldberg versus The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels coming out of retirement with Triple H going against Kane and Undertaker, and everyone was injured, and Shawn Michaels had to carry the match. And the list goes on. The greatest Royal Rumble, the greatest WrestleMania and everything. Now, this match, this card, like I said, was a very good card. First of all, I heard that The Undertaker was over in Saudi, and everybody thought he would show up because that's what would happen. I mean, The Undertaker will show up, whether it's just to pop in and, take a stroll down the entrance for 10 minutes, choke slam somebody, and then quickly disappear, or, somehow get involved in a match somehow. But however, he wasn't at Crown Jewel, which was a bit surprising. But he was in Saudi. He was there to introduce Pitbull at his concert. I don't know if anybody had that on their bingo card for 2021, Undertaker introducing Pitbull at a concert. But yeah, he introduced Pitbull at a concert over there. So, that was that. I mean, they got him for another, 9 years? So he's going to be, I guess he's just going to be doing some wacky stuff. So, him introducing Pitbull is just one of those things. He got the Netflix interactive special, which I don't think I talked about that yet. I did watch it. I did the thing. I did it with my kids. They watched it. And, So don't go in there expecting to watch like Squid Games or something like that. Don't expect to come in there like walking away feeling emotional or anything like that. You know, it is what it is. It definitely is something that was supposed to be meant for kids, but my kids aren't normal kids. So by the time we were like midway through, they kind of got bored with it. And I love The Undertaker, but it was just like, it was definitely low budget. I'll say that. I'm not gonna give out any spoilers, just in case you haven't watched it, but it's definitely low budget, which is surprising, seeing as though WWE has money. But I guess they really are cutting people due to budget cuts. But there were multiple endings to it. I think we did 2 or 3. We did one where we won. The good ending, I should say. We did 2 that were good endings, and then we had one which was a bad ending. And then that was that. And I normally love the Choose Your Adventures. I love the Choose Your Adventures with the Goosebumps books. And so I thought I would be intrigued by this, especially like give me The Undertaker and a Choose Your Own Adventure. Yes, give me that. But I feel as though this would have worked a lot better if Undertaker was in his prime. I feel as though that interactive special would have worked 20 times better if Undertaker was in his prime. But you know, it's something you can do. I forgot how long it is. I think it's like maybe like 20 minutes long or something like that throughout the whole thing. But it was all right. Like, I won't give it like 5 stars. Maybe 3. It was fun. Not really something like, once you do it once, you kind of don't want to do it again. You kind of just want to see all the endings on YouTube. That's kind of what we did. But yeah. So going into Crown Jewel. Now, I didn't see the pre-show, so I didn't even see any of the Usos versus the Hurt Business. But I saw that the Usos won. It was a non-title match. But yeah, I should have known that they was going to do a match, but I didn't really think about it. I didn't tune into it at all. So they started off with the Hell in a Cell match, Edge versus Seth Rollins. This match was for 27 minutes long. This was a pretty good match. Now, my only issue is with these Hell in a Cell matches, and this is probably me being so used to Hell in a Cell being a certain way, especially when you involve The Undertaker. But even with like, I think it was Sasha versus Bayley that had a Hell in a Cell match. That was pretty good. Sometimes when they do these Hell in a Cell matches, it's basically a hardcore match. And with this, I feel as though they really didn't need the Hell in a Cell because they only kind of used the cell once. And that was the spot where Edge pushed Seth Rollins off the top rope. He hit the cage and then fell down to a table below. That was the cool spot. That was pretty much like one of the few times that they actually used the cage. And I felt as though they could have actually just done an Extreme Rules thing. I mean, they kind of did the Hell in a Cell thing just for them to say Hell in a Cell. I saw that they had the camels by the entrance, which I thought was a bit surprising because there was fire. There was a lot of pyro. I figured that the camels would get scared. You could feel the fire too. When they do those fire pyros, you can definitely feel the heat. But I thought it was a bit weird. And then on top of that, I heard how loud the crowd was. And, you know, with WWE, you don't know if the crowd is actually loud or if they piped in noise. I definitely remember what they did with Chicago, muting them and adding in the crowd noise. So I didn't know if they were legitly crowd loud. But I give props to the fans over there. They were loud throughout the whole night. They definitely made the pay-per-view a lot better. Even some of the matches in some of the spots, even some of the matches that kind of had like a kind of like a low point where you just kind of like the fans were still like pretty much in it, and it made the pay-per-view a lot more enjoyable, especially the triple threat match. I'm very happy that the fans were very interactive with that match. It definitely made that match so much more better. There was a spot where Edge was getting the support leg of a chair and he tried to choke Rollins with it, and Rollins sat there and poked Edge's eye with it, and I was like, oh, do not tell me we're getting into a eye for an eye match. Like, I had like flashbacks of that whole thing. Seth Rollins doing a sunset bomb from the ladder to the table was pretty good. Then towards the end of the match, it kind of was like where the match really, really picked up. We had Seth Rollins wanting to put Edge down. He started doing a bunch of super kicks to him. Of course, the commentators started to refer to how Edge has an issue with his neck. And then Seth Rollins went and got a chain, decided to wrap his foot with the chain, and then did a super kick with the chain, which I thought was a pretty unique spot. And then I think he went to do a curb stomp he went to do the curb stomp with the chain on his foot. Edge took the chair, and they did this weird spot, and I know they were trying to make it like more fluid and safe, of course, because Seth Rollins wants to have more kids, I'm sure. But they did the spot where Seth Rollins landed on the chair. Edge kind of like put the chair up between Seth Rollins' legs, and Seth Rollins lands on the chair. And then on there, Edge then got control. He started to I think that's when he started to do he took the chain off of Seth Rollins' foot, and he did a crossface with the chain. Well, no, he choked out Seth Rollins with the chain, and then he did a crossface with the wrench, and then decided to try to use the support leg of the chair, and then he put the chair down underneath Seth Rollins' head. He does the curb stomp on Seth Rollins onto the chair, and then he won the match. They say that this is like pretty much the end, so I don't know how that's going to happen, because both men are going to be on the same show. So I don't know if Edge is going to move on to another feud, or if Edge is taking time off at this point and Seth Rollins moves on to another feud. I guess we will have to see come Monday. But overall, this was a very good match to be an opener. I love it when WWE decides to put a very good match to start off a pay-per-view. It kind of like sets the tone and kind of like gets you motivated for more. After that, we had Mansoor versus Mustafa Ali. This was a pretty standard wrestling match. Of course, Mansoor was highly cheered for. This match was for 10 minutes. And, like I said, it was a standard wrestling match. Ali mentioned how this is the first time that two Muslim wrestlers face each other on a pay-per-view. So props to them for this happening, especially in Saudi. At the end, now I didn't catch the ending part because I didn't catch how the match finished, but I did see that it was Mansoor who won. And then afterwards, Ali went and started to attack Mansoor, and of course the crowd started to boo and everything. This felt like the spot where we knew someone was coming. You would think it may be The Undertaker, so that The Undertaker can kind of give Mansoor a bit of the rub there for the young guy. But we saw a guy come in. His face was covered. He slowly made it to the ring, and he uncovered his face. Now, I had the match muted because I was on a phone. I was in a meeting on the phone call, and so I didn't hear who this person was. I had to actually look it up. But I saw that the crowd erupted, and I'm like, okay, who is this person? And from the way he was dressed, I kind of figured he was an Olympian from Saudi Arabia, and he was a silver medalist. I think it's pronounced Tariq Hamidi, and apparently I didn't even know this happened, and I watched the Olympics. There was controversy around his win. He had kicks. He was facing, I forgot who he was facing, but he had kicked someone and they were knocked out, which got him disqualified, because you cannot knock out someone unconscious or anything like that. It would break the rules. So his opponent won gold, even though he was knocked out cold, and Tariq won silver. And so they recreated that kick to Ali, because it is what it is. And the crowd went crazy. So look for his contract to come up in WWE. After that, we had the tag team championship. AJ Styles and Omos versus RK Bro. I cannot wait to see the original AJ Styles, the man, the myth, the legend, the face that runs the place. But, we're still going to stick it out. Now, I figured that RK Bro that Riddle was going to do something. He stops Randy Orton. He walks off. You can clearly see Riddle saying, "I'll be back," and like points up a finger that says, "Wait right here." But the commentary wanted to sell that Riddle left Randy Orton there and stuff like that, which I don't know why they did that. I thought Riddle was going to come out with another scooter and we see Randy Orton go down the scooter, which would definitely been all over Twitter. But instead, Riddle comes out on a camel and he rides the camel down to the ring while Randy Orton is walking, like one of the lackeys or something. I thought he was going to have him jump on the camel or bring out a camel for him, but Randy Orton is too cool for that shit. This match between these two tag teams was for about 8 minutes, and it felt like it was pretty short. During the match, Randy Orton was tagged in to go against Omos. Randy tried to shoulder tackle Omos, but it doesn't work at all. And I do like Omos. He has gotten a lot better from when he first started. My only thing is I wish he would just kind of speed up a little bit. They have this thing with him that he does a move and he kind of like, because they put over how tall he is, how big he is, stuff like that. And yes, I know that a slam from his height is a lot more devastating than a slam from like Randy Orton's height or something like that. But I wish there was less time in between his moves. Like, he doesn't have to be like Keith Lee fast or anything like that, or even Taker fast, because Taker in his prime was pretty fast with his movement and stuff like that. Because I know I forgot how tall he is. I know he's like 7 feet, definitely over 7 feet or something. But I wish that he would, like, his moves would connect a little more, like add a little bit of something to it. Because, there's a lot of what I like to call like dead space where, you do a move and you're just standing there, you're taunting the crowd, you're walking around, stuff like that, giving your opponent a bit time to like recover and catch their breath, which they really shouldn't have that moment. You really should be on top of them, attacking them a lot more. But I guess that is to happen to kind of counteract AJ Styles' more quick and fast type of moveset. But we'll see what happens as he continues to get experience in the ring. In the end, Randy Orton and Riddle defeats AJ Styles and Omos to retain the titles, which I kind of figured they were going to do. RK Bro is probably one of the better things that Raw has right now, and it works perfectly to kind of like put the whole Rock and Sock Connection type of tag team in 2021. So I feel as though they're going to keep these two together for quite a while. I would say probably until Mania season, when they figure out what they want to do with each individual as well. I noticed too that Peacock was running, when the Peacock would run their commercials, I don't know if WWE was realizing like the timing or something, because the Peacock commercial, once it was over, it cuts into the middle of Charlotte's vignette of her coming to SmackDown. But I don't know. Peacock has been very weird. I am very happy though that Peacock was running very smoothly with this pay-per-view. Because sometimes, we pay $6 and we get $6. You know what I mean? You get the great value streaming service. You get what you pay for. After that, we get the finals match for the Queen's Crown tournament. Zelina Vega versus Doudrop. I am happy that this match lasted for past 3 minutes. That this match was for almost 6 minutes, actually. Now, I didn't know that these two women faced each other. I think it was I don't know if it was Worlds Collide or the Mae Young Classic. It was one of those that they faced each other in. I saw Zelina had did Now they said cold. I don't know if it was Cold Red or a Canadian Destroyer. It looked like it was a Canadian Destroyer that she did on Doudrop. This match was pretty quick. I mean, Doudrop kind of had a bit of offense going in, but then it turned to with Zelina Vega. She got the pin, and she was, of course, very happy. Go Queen, Zelina. My only thing was, and it was pretty sad, when she won and she walks up to the stage, there was like no one to like crown her and put the cape and scepter on. Now I don't know if that happened previously. Like, I would think they would have like maybe a stage crew or one of the, someone in the back. There's a lot of people in the back that could have actually, put the cape on her and, crown her and stuff like that. The crown was not, the cape was not working. She tried to put the cape on, but it wasn't happening. That bad boy probably came from the dollar store. The way that kept falling off, and unfortunately she had to put it on her arm. She put the crown on herself, took the scepter, sat down. They played this royal music, and they announced, all hail Queen Zelina. And we'll see where we go from here. Like I said, the King and the Queen of the Ring, those type of titles work a lot better on heels because the heels tend to play off, being a king or queen a lot longer throughout the year than a face would. But we will get into the men's side right after this match between Goldberg and Bobby Lashley. There was, now on Bleacher Report, they have this like prediction type of thing, and one of the predictions was, will Goldberg and Bobby Lashley go over 7 minutes? Now this match was a no holds bar, falls count anywhere. I kind of figured, like, hell, they can make it last more than 7 minutes. I would imagine that a no holds bar match, falls count anywhere, will at least last 7 minutes, even though it is Goldberg. That figure will at least last for 7 minutes, and it did. This match was for over 10 minutes, which we may have to check. That may be a Goldberg record. That may be the longest match that Goldberg has had so far in WWE. Maybe, I don't know. Well, no, not Goldberg coming, freshly coming to WWE. Maybe this, this Goldberg that we're dealing with, it might be the longest match, but I had to think about it. I do remember Goldberg was in WWE long before. My thing with Goldberg, they gotta change up his entrance. I know, nostalgia and all that other stuff, but Goldberg is way too big to be having 6 scrawny ass people walk him, not even 100 feet to the ring. You can clearly tell he came out of the hallway door. And then you can tell from when they walked, the stage was like right there. And I'm like, dude, who are you afraid of that you need the NXT? It wasn't even, I don't even think it was NXT people. I think it was probably like, the janitors who work at the stadium or something. And they told these 6 guys, hey, throw on a shirt and walk this guy to the damn curtain. And it was cool, it was cool when in WCW when he had the police with him. Yeah, cool. Police escort. You're walking for a good 3-4 minutes while everybody's chanting Goldberg. Nowadays, don't make any sense anymore. Okay, they need to change it up. Like he can just walk out by himself. I don't get why he can't walk out by himself. He's 50-something years old. He keeps telling people you're next. Like, how you going to threaten to kill people and say you're next and you sit there and got protection? That don't make any sense. But with this match, first of all, Goldberg, first of all, let's start off with Goldberg in a no holds barred match with weapons and stuff like that. You want to talk about gasping for air? I was holding my damn breath with some of these spots. I saw Goldberg going for the jackhammer with Bobby Lashley. The last time Goldberg did a jackhammer in Saudi, it nearly killed The Undertaker. he, what was it? I think he did an elbow or something like that. Or no, it was a spear maybe into the barricade that he did. And you see Bobby Lashley started to bleed on his arm. Then from that spot, Goldberg was just walking around. I don't know what the hell he was looking for. He was looking for something underneath the ring, which he couldn't find, apparently. And then he goes for the steel steps. He takes it off. He grabs Bobby Lashley, puts Bobby Lashley down. And you see Goldberg hold up the steps. And I'm like, yo. And Goldberg was struggling with them steps. And luckily, he gave enough time for Bobby Lashley to move. Because I was like, I do not trust Goldberg with them steps, man. He was, I know that, yeah, the steps are probably heavy and stuff, but, you know, don't do a spot that, don't do a spot if you can't hold it. You know what I mean? And then we get to Bobby Lashley walking up the ramp. Goldberg, I thought Goldberg was going to go for a spear on the ramp or something like that. The Hurt Business comes out finally to give Bobby Lashley some help. They came out with kendo sticks. Goldberg, of course, took them both down. And then afterwards, he starts attacking Bobby Lashley. And then, of course, was the spot at the end where he spears Bobby Lashley off the stage onto a table, well, cloth table or whatever below. Everyone's saying, "Oh, he killed Bobby Lashley," and I'm like, "No, I've seen people do a lot worse than that." Now I picked Bobby Lashley to win, but I had a feeling it was going to be Goldberg. Now this match, it wasn't as vicious as it would be when you hear no holds bar, falls count anywhere, you put your hands on my son, I'm gonna kill you, all this other stuff. It was a bit underwhelming. The crowd was so into it though, so it kind of made it a bit more exciting. Now, like I said, this match lasted for over 10 minutes. I felt as though we probably got like 4 minutes of it was straight up action. The rest of it was a lot of what I call dead space, where Goldberg's walking around, catching his breath. Bobby Lashley went to attack Goldberg's legs again. You see him, you know, limping and stuff like that. And you see him like walking around trying to shake it off and stuff. A good portion of that match, though, was Goldberg kind of like walking around. I mean, yeah, pretty much walking around. So after that, we get to the King of the Ring tournament finals. Xavier Woods going against Finn Bálor. Xavier Woods' dream is to get the King of the Ring crown. He said that means more to him than the WWE Championship. And so I was all for him to win. I know a lot of people felt as now on paper, yes, Finn Bálor should have kicked Xavier Woods' ass. Finn Bálor is a 2-time champion, the Demon, all the other stuff. He defeated so many people and stuff like that. And there were people who felt as though, oh, Finn Bálor should go to AEW and he's buried and all this other stuff. Let it be found out. Finn Bálor comes out and say that he wanted Xavier Woods to win. Everybody's going to change their mind and say it's the greatest thing ever. Yes, on paper, Finn Bálor should defeat Xavier Woods. Yes, they could have used someone else to defeat Finn Bálor, but with the men's King of the Ring is what they should have did with the women's Queen of the Ring. There was a story with this. The whole story was Xavier Woods finally getting the crown, finally getting his moment, his WrestleMania moment, I guess I would say basically. And not only defeating I forgot who he faced in the first round. Defeating Jinder Mahal, but defeating Finn Bálor to get to it. And it was a lot of back and forth between, not a lot. It was some back and forth. Finn Bálor did have a lot of the offense, so that kind of would have made sense. Xavier Woods tried to, get some offense in. Finn Bálor, showing his veteran skills, was able to reverse and everything like that. He went for the limit breaker. Finn Bálor got his knees up. Finn Bálor went to go for the coup de grace. Xavier Woods was able to roll away from that. So this match lasted for 13 minutes. And I realized the Queen's Crown tournament finals was the match that had the least amount of time, which I kind of figured was going to happen. But in the end, Xavier Woods goes for the limit breaker again, and he gets the win. And you see him tearing up and everything like that. The crowd over there definitely popping. They were cheering for Xavier Woods. They were even booing Finn Bálor, which I was a bit surprised by. And I was pleasantly surprised with that. But Xavier Woods get his win, and no one was there to crown him either. I thought that we would at least get Big E or Kofi Kingston to come out if he was out there with them. But like I said, they should have got somebody to put on the cape and the crown and stuff like that. Because Xavier Woods was trying to put on the cape, but it wasn't working. And he was like, you know what? That's fine. We're going to figure it out later. He puts on the crown and everything. He starts cutting a promo to the camera. I cannot wait to see what the hell he does with this. For him to be this excited to be King of the Ring, that means he has something planned. And I know with if you watch his YouTube channel Up Down Down and you heard of the party when they used to play Uno, he had a second persona that was called the Kang. I don't know if he's gonna bring that out or what, but I'm excited to see what the hell he's gonna do with the King of the Ring title. For someone to be this hype over the King of the Ring, I would imagine he has something planned up his sleeve for the next 6 months or year or so. So after that, we had Drew McIntyre versus Big E. Drew McIntyre coming out with the sword and everything. This was for the WWE Championship. This was a good match. A lot of back and forth between Big E and Drew McIntyre. The crowd was very much into it. This match was for about 13 minutes. So it was pretty fun, I would have to say. A lot of big spots from both men. Drew McIntyre doing a bulldog off of the second rope. Big E he went to do a big ending, but Drew McIntyre was able to get out of it. Big E kicking out of the Claymore. I didn't expect that one. Kind of had me there for a bit. I had Big E winning this because since Drew McIntyre is going to Smackdown, I kind of didn't see him winning the title to go off the Smackdown unless Brock Lesnar wins the title. And that way, since he's a free agent, he can kind of bounce between the two shows and kind of have Raw still have a title. But I don't think USA would have been happy with that one. But in the end, Big E does another big ending, and he was able to put Drew McIntyre down for 3 seconds. You see Drew McIntyre kind of get a bit emotional because that was his last match as a Raw superstar until they do the next draft, or if they decide to do the stupid wild card rule again. After that, we had the triple threat match for the Women's SmackDown Championship. Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks. Now, I was very interested to see how much time this match would get. I was hoping that they weren't going to short these women because these 3 women will know how to put on a show. And plus, it's a triple threat match. So, triple threat match normally needs enough time. This match went for 19 minutes, which was the most on the card. Besides Edge and Seth Rollins, it was the most time in a match, and I was very happy with this match. This was a great match, a lot of great spots. First of all, Bianca Belair is strong as fuck. She held out Sasha Banks with one hand, even though Sasha Banks she did have her arms on Bianca's shoulder to hold herself up as well. And then she had Becky Lynch that she was going to do a suplex, but there's a spot where Becky looked like she was about to reverse it, but Bianca Belair used her strength to go and pull off the suplex. So Bianca, of course, being very, very strong. Let me see. Who was it? I think it was Bianca Belair who did the KOD to Becky, and then you see Sasha and Bianca kind of fight for each other. And then there was a spot. Now, there was a spot that I wasn't really I really didn't care for. Becky Lynch went to go for, I think, a flip off the top rope or something like that. And Becky and Bianca caught her, and you see Bianca and Sasha caught her, and you see Becky kind of like, oh, my friend Bianca, oh, Sasha Banks, my friend, you guys will put me down, right? And then they threw her back in the turnbuckle. Then there was the spot where Bianca got caught in the bank statement and the disarmer at the same time, which I thought was pretty cool. Let me see. And then in the end, Becky Lynch got the, I think she calls it the manhandle slam or something like that. Basically the rock bottom on Bianca Belair. She almost got her for the near fall. Lynch then put the disarmer on her. Bianca was able to get away. And then that was the spot where Bianca hit the KOD on Lynch, and Banks went and threw Bianca Belair out of the ring, which happened a lot during this match. Bianca Belair being thrown out of the ring. And then from there, Becky Lynch caught Sasha Banks with the roll up, and she used the ropes to get the win from there. And then comes the main event. We had, of course, the biggest question was which man is Paul Heyman going to walk away with? Well, first of all, Roman Reigns came out first, which I thought was weird. They kind of did that too with Becky Lynch as well. She came out first as well. But, I guess they kind of figured Brock Lesnar would get the bigger reception. So that's how they did it. So we had Roman Reigns going against Brock Lesnar for the WWE Universal Championship. Brock Lesnar letting us know that Suplex City still exists. Lesnar started off with a lot of offense. It definitely reminded me of their WrestleMania matches when Roman Reigns was the quote-unquote underdog, where Brock Lesnar started off with a lot of offense, dominating Roman Reigns and everything like that with suplexes and everything. And then Roman Reigns gets that opening and he starts coming back with the Superman punches and the spears and stuff like that. That's definitely how this match kind of started off. The ref then got knocked out. You see Brock Lesnar look over at Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman walks around. He tries to see if the ref was conscious, but then Brock Lesnar, showing off how fucking powerful he is, grabs the referee by his belt buckle, picks him up with one arm, and then puts him back down, drops him, and then the ref rolls out of the ring. So you see Paul Heyman, he has the title. He's trying to decide who he's going to, give the title to. Which man is he going to choose? Check out next week on the next episode of The Bachelor. All right, that's how it felt like. Paul Heyman then pushed the title in the middle between them two and said, I don't know what to do anymore. So obviously he kind of admitted there that he has been talking to Brock Lesnar and everything, playing both sides, because he was interviewed earlier today. He said he was walking out with the reigning, defending, undisputed WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns, and then said, and then I'll be walking out with the undisputed Universal Champion. But he didn't say which name. So basically, it's whoever has the hottest car. So we had the title in the middle, and then I immediately knew that we were going to get that stupid tug of war that we saw many years ago. Brock Lesnar grabbing the title, and then Roman grabs the title. They kind of do a bit of a tug of war there. And then you see the Usos come in, because Brock Lesnar obviously won the tug of war. Then the Usos come in, and they start doing super kicks to Brock Lesnar, and you kind of see Paul Heyman looking a bit shocked because it feels like he wanted Brock Lesnar to win, but he didn't want it to seem like he wanted Brock Lesnar to win. He didn't want to come off that way. Basically, Brock Lesnar wins and he just kind of like walks away with him because he goes wherever the title goes. He hits Roman Reigns with the title. Oh, no. You know, the Usos did a bunch of super kicks, stuff like that. Brock Lesnar drops the title. And then Roman Reigns grabs the title and hits Brock Lesnar with the title. And then a second referee comes out. 1, 2, 3, and Roman Reigns retains. Sometimes, you know, I get a bit confused with WWE here because sometimes the ref will see like the DQ and then, you know, match restarts or whatever, but you know, it is what it is. But Roman Reigns retains the title. Paul Heyman looks shocked as all hell, walking up with Roman Reigns looking like, oh my God, my plan didn't work. Oh my God, Brock Lesnar lost. I am still stuck with Roman Reigns. And he looks shocked. You know, he's standing there, Roman Reigns, you know, holding up his fist, stuff like that. And you see him kind of look over at Paul Heyman. And Paul Heyman needs to be an actor in a horror movie or something. Like, his facial expressions is like on the money. But we will see the aftermath come Friday at Smackdown of how Roman Reigns is going to handle what Paul Heyman did. Because obviously he was going for Brock Lesnar too, because he didn't push the title over to Roman Reigns. He kind of put it in the middle and pretty much was like, may the best man win type of situation. This match lasted for 12 minutes. And in the end, this was a pretty good pay-per-view. And definitely, let me tell you, I am proud of WWE. This pay-per-view went off without a DQ, without a no contest. You know, there were no countouts. There were no double countouts. Everything ended with a pinfall. And I am proud of WWE for that, because we rarely get those type of situations. WWE loves their DQs, their no contest, and all that other stuff. So I completely forgot. Next week is Halloween Havoc. And I didn't really check out the last NXT show, but I gotta tell you, man, NXT 2.0, I don't know, man. I don't know how much longer we're going to be able to deal with the way this is going. Obviously, they are they're looking to push people out, and I don't know, like NXT 2.0, it's in the original NXT, it had that indie feel. You know, it was the indie darling and stuff like that. But with this one, is definitely, they said they were going for a developmental, and it's definitely showing that this is a developmental. And it's like a developmental, it's like a developmental for Raw. A lot of these people are established characters and gimmicks, and that way it's just easier to bring them up to the main roster. And, you know, sometimes it works. Everyone loves Braun Breaker. He is his father and uncle, as long as he doesn't do any math promos. Everyone's liking him, so obviously he will eventually win the title. Carmelo Hayes is pretty cool. Andre Chase, I find pretty funny. I don't know how it would translate in the ring. I didn't see this past match, so I don't know how he is in the ring when he went against Odyssey Jones. But like, as far as like a manager, he would be like spot on the money. I am shocked that they do these vignettes with him and he's cursed. Well, I mean, even though they bleep out the cursing, that he's cursing and stuff like that. The women's division definitely need some work. I did hear that one of the women got injured. They went for a suicide dive, but they obviously got cut off, and I believe the person is injured. So I definitely hope she gets better. Everyone loves D'Angelo. He's taking a liking to Lash Legend, basically the Wendy Williams of NXT. And then, things are, coming along for the Halloween Havoc. So I'm going to go into some predictions here. So starting off, and I took this list off of WWE's website. So we have LA Knight, who is playing as the host. The year before, we had Shotzi Blackheart, which fits perfectly. I wish she was still in NXT so we can get her as the host again, and she could wear the amazing outfits that she wore, especially the red outfit that, a lot of people became new fans for. So we're going to get Lashing Out with Lash Legend Halloween Havoc special. WWE just loves these little talk shows, which don't really go anywhere. Mysterious Superstar will be unveiled. I did saw the little teaser. Obviously, it's a woman. I don't know if it's Amber Moon. Because it seems like whoever it is, it's like a bit of a restructure. At first, now I had to rewatch it again because at first notice, I thought it was going to be Elias, because we did see him disappear in Heat last time we saw him. He was at a graveyard, so I saw the graveyard and I thought it was him. But no, it's a woman, and so I don't know who she is. It could be Amber Moon. I was trying to look at the roster. Maybe it's Dakota Kai. I saw that she was throwing things into the pit. She threw cards. She threw a TV in there and something else. So I don't know who it is. It may be Scarlett, but I don't know. I hope they don't remake Scarlett into something stupid. But it could be Scarlett. It could be Amber Moon. It could be let me see. It could be Amber Moon. It could be Dakota Kai. Yeah, those are my 3 picks. I don't know who else it could be. We will get the debut of Solo Sikoa, who is the younger brother of the Usos. If you don't know that he's related to the Usos, they definitely show you the same tattoo that you see Roman Reigns have, the same chest tattoo that Roman Reigns have, and he sounds like the Usos as well. I'm waiting for him. I got you, Us, but maybe not. So they didn't really say who he would go against. So I'm guessing he's going to go against some lackey, and he's going to take the win from there. After that, so we got the NXT Tag Team Championship Spin the Wheel, Make a Deal match. MSK versus Imperium. I'm going to stick with MSK on this one. I really like Imperium. I really do. But I think that MSK is really good, as far as tag team and everything like that. And I'm really, I would love for Imperium to win the championship. But it just feels like the theme of NXT 2.0 is out with the old and with the new. So I think MSK is going to stay with the titles. But I don't know what's going to happen with Imperium. I don't know if they're going to go back over to NXT UK maybe. Because there's no changes over with NXT UK. So I'm going to guess that they may go there if WWE really don't have anything else for them to do in NXT. From there, we have the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship Triple Threat Scareway to Hell ladder match. Io Shirai and Zoe Stark versus Indy Hartwell and Persia Pirata versus Toxic Attractions, Gigi Dolan, and JC Jane. And I think it was JC Jane who actually got injured. So I don't know if she's going to appear at Halloween Havoc, if she's going to have enough time to recover. I didn't see exactly what it was that got injured, so I don't know if it's like a shoulder or something like that may take less time to heal. I don't know to go with this one. I'm going to say Toxic Attraction. They definitely have been featuring Toxic Attraction like it's the second coming of Undisputed Era. I feel as though with Io Shirai and Zoe Stark, they're obviously doing this Fremini thing that they did with the tag team champions on the damn main roster, and I'm starting to get frustrated talking about it because this is Io Shirai. It's Io Shirai. Don't do this to Io Shirai, please. Don't do the Fremini thing with Io Shirai. I hope Io Shirai stays the psychotic wonder of the world. It's a ladder match. She's going to do a crazy ass moonsault off the top of it probably. But I have Toxic Attraction. I at least have them losing the title. But I think it's going to go to Toxic Attraction. Because I don't know where Indy Hartwell and this Persia chick came from. I guess she was in the wedding or something like that. I don't know. But I never heard of this Persia chick before. If she has been there the whole time, I definitely missed it. I do know Toxic Attraction. Those two are an actual tag team. Io Shirai and Zoe Stark kind of came together because they just wanted the damn gold. But I'm going to go with Toxic Attraction to win the title. After that, for the NXT Women's Championship, spin the wheel, make a deal. We have Raquel Gonzalez versus Mandy Rose. Now, I don't know here. If this was regular NXT, I would go for Raquel Gonzalez. However, this is NXT 2.0, where if you don't have the gimmick, you're not going to stick it. I was trying to make that rhyme. It obviously didn't. But I feel as though this is NXT 2.0, out with the old and with the new. I feel as though Mandy Rose is going to win this. They have been featuring Mandy Rose so damn hard on NXT. Even with the damn entrance, when they do the camera up for a Toxic Attraction entrance, the camera stays on fucking Mandy Rose. Not complaining too much about that, but still, the camera is on Mandy Rose, so obviously she is going to be a very big attraction as far as with NXT 2.0 from now on. I know it's crazy because I would have thought that, I had Raquel Gonzalez losing the title to a lot of different people, not a lot of different people, but to other people, and she beat them. So it would make sense for Raquel Gonzalez to retain the title against Mandy Rose. But I have a feeling that we're going to have Toxic Attraction interfering. We may have Dakota Kai returning to take out Raquel Gonzalez as well. Maybe that's where the mysterious superstar will be unveiled. It'll be unveiled with this match. Like I said, it could be Dakota Kai. It could be Ember Moon. I forgot who my third person was already. Or it could be Scarlett. So that I wouldn't mind a Scarlett versus Mandy Rose match, to be all honest with you. But, it's definitely going to be revealed, I think, with this match. But I'm going to go with Mandy Rose in this one. I think somebody's going to interfere, whether it's Toxic Attraction or Dakota Kai or whoever this mysterious person is going to come out and interfere in the match. And start a feud with Raquel Gonzalez outside the title. And then for the main event for the NXT Championship match, Tommaso Ciampa versus Braun Breaker. Once again, out with the old and with the new. I don't know what they're going to do with Tommaso Ciampa, but obviously we all know that he is the transitional champion here. They heavily mentioned how the requirements that they do with NXT is purely developmental, and you would think that they would have big names around to kind of like bounce a lot of these new people off of. But from what we are seeing with a lot of these segments, a lot of these matches, it is featuring these new wrestlers heavily. And so I think Braun Breaker is going to take the title here. First of all, everybody loves Braun Breaker. I feel as though his promos is going to get crazier and crazier the more they let them fly. And also too, this Halloween Havoc only has technically 4 matches. I mean, normally NXT takeovers, or a special, no, this isn't exactly a takeover, so I take that back. But yeah, this is a NXT special, and like I said, it's going to be out with the old and with the new. I don't know what Tommaso's going to do. Obviously, he wasn't called up in the draft, so more likely he may be staying in NXT and maybe continuing the feud with Braun Breaker. Or if, even if Solo comes out and decides he wants to fight Tommaso Ciampa, or who knows. Yeah, I thought that they would maybe add Carmelo Hayes and Johnny Gargano to this Halloween Havoc, but it looks like we're not getting that. It looks like we'll get that matchup at another time. If they announced it, I didn't really see if it was announced officially or not. Yeah, and that's it for NXT 2.0 Halloween Havoc. I don't know, I want to like NXT 2.0. My issue here is that there's so many new faces, and it's just it's very hard to connect with a lot of the new people if you don't have the familiar faces there as well. They show off these new people very heavily. Some of it works, like with Tony D'Angelo, and with Braun Breaker, that absolutely works. Those two works. But someone like Joe Gacy, who is this weird ass guidance counselor who cuts a promo about how the ring is a safe space and he is trying to avoid violence. Now, it seems like they're going with this Bo Dallas type of psychotic character, which I'm fine with. However, I don't know. It's just the writing of his promos definitely need work. And the fact that he is cutting these promos in the middle of the ring, it would probably have been a lot easier if it was vignettes that we would see, vignettes in between a match or something like that. But him coming out and sit out in the middle of the ring, it just feels like it's dragging. I forgot the tag team name of with Josh Briggs, and I know these names because I'm looking at I'm actually looking at the roster on WWE.com, so I'm not pulling these names off of memory. I kind of like the tag team between Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen. It kind of reminds me of a mix of the oh my gosh, it reminds me a bit of a mix of APA and the Smoking Guns. If you don't know who the Smoking Guns are, it was Billy Gunn and Bart Gunn. This was Billy Gunn before he went to DX. There were a bunch of cowboys, and they were faces, but I feel as though those two together it gives me those vibes between APA and the Smoking Guns, if you put them two together. Now, they don't have the dominating fierceness that APA has, but it definitely gives me those type of vibes as far as two guys who are, friends with each other because they love to kick ass type of situation. Someone who I'm not connecting with at all is this Von Wagner person. I don't know, he's just very bland to me. I saw some of the vignette of him working out with Kyle O'Reilly, but I don't know, ever since he entered into he is able to keep up in the ring, I give that, but I don't know, it's something just not connecting with that guy. I don't know if it's it feels like, you know what it feels like? It feels like he is not confident in himself. And if that is true, that definitely comes across on TV. I feel like there is it's no confidence or something, or if they're trying to play off this whole underdog thing. I don't know, but it's something that is coming across the TV, and it's not there. Let me see. Like I said, Andre Chase is a cool person as far as like a manager or something. And I do crack up when he be having the segments where he is cursing at the students or something. But it's, I don't know how that's supposed to all translate into the ring. It's just like so disjointed. And which is really a shame because some of these people are actually talented. Like Joe Gacy, you can tell he is a pretty talented wrestler. It's just the fact that they are stuck in this gimmick that, you know, just isn't coming across. And then we see they're missing names off this roster because they're missing I forgot his new name, but it's the Brock Lesnar Jr. guy, mini Brock Lesnar, who they shaved his head, and now he looks like fucking Kane without the mask. I didn't see him for the second time if they showed him at NXT 2.0 this past Tuesday, but he gives me the vibes of Kane after he took off the mask. Like the Kane that when he did the movie See No Evil with the one white eye. He definitely gives me those type of vibes. You know, it's a big reset for the women's division, I tell you that. They still got Io Shirai, you know, they got Zoe Stark, they got Saray there. But it's definitely a lot of concentration on these newer names. And it's definitely a big reset. It really is. But yeah, that's it for the WrestleBread podcast. I mean, we thank you so much for listening. Let me give some shout outs. Shout out to Julian Rob Bass from Wrestling Court Podcast and AlternativeMinds.com. Keita and Jay from the Keita and Jay Show. Chris and Keita from We Talk Next podcast, which is featured on the Keita and Jay Show. Nando and Larry from Half K Podcast. Devin Hafiz from Clark Street Wrestling. I was on their previous episode. Check them out on YouTube where we did a recap of everything, including a recap of not a recap, a prediction for oh my gosh, for Crown Jewel. Wow, I was about to say Hell in a Cell. A prediction for Crown Jewel, and I will be I'm actually going to be on their podcast again, recapping Crown Jewel, so definitely keep an eye out on that. And then additional shout outs to Straight Talk Wrestling, Circle of Debate, and Top Rope Wrestling Talk podcast as well. Thank you for everyone who was listening in live. And like I had said, I'll be coming to an end with my live episodes. I know a lot of people kind of had, enjoy listening to these live. However, I don't know if you heard it throughout the episode, but I tend to do my streaming and my recording in a section of the living room. And because, with mama comes kids. And so my daughter, who is my left hip, tends to come downstairs whenever I'm recording. And while I can kind of like tune out things when I'm streaming, because I could play like background music, can't really do that when I am, recording a live podcast episode. So if you heard like some slight snoring in the background, I apologize. That was her sleeping on the couch because she is waiting for mama to come upstairs. Quick story. If you're wondering why is she still up why is she down in the living room 11 o'clock at night? A raccoon had broke into her damn school Wednesday afternoon or something like that. Once they left school, thank God. And so she didn't have school today, Thursday, and she won't have school tomorrow because animal control is running slightly behind and they didn't get the raccoon out in time. Crazy story, a crazy reason to be out of school for 2 days, and it's because a raccoon had broken into your school. And yeah, that is how life is. So coming up next week, I will be recapping the Halloween Havoc episode of NXT Live. I will also be going into the recap of Rampage and Dynamite that is coming up as well. I think Dynamite may be back the day before I record. Who knows? Next week will be the last live episode of the podcast. I still will be putting out episodes. It's just they won't be live anymore. They will be pre-recorded. Be sure to hop on Twitter and follow me at JDC137. That's JAYDEE letter C 137. You can also find me at that same username on Instagram, TikTok, and I stream live on Twitch. I stream normally on Saturdays and Tuesdays. Right now, I am playing The Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima, and sometimes I play a little bit of Fall Guys and Battlefront. You can also find the podcast on Twitter at WrestleBread. You click the link in the bio there. You can find the podcast on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, which I am working on. I know I keep saying it, but my filming is hard. You can find the podcast on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and wherever you listen to your podcast live. Thank you so much for listening. Please leave a review. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts about Crown Jewel. All hail King Woods, the reign of the Kang. Xavier Woods starts now. And until next time, guys, peace.